Welcome to my channel. When I was 16, I worked as a receptionist in a busy doctor's office. Each morning I greeted patients with a smile and a clipboard, scheduling appointments and taking insurance info. The office was small. There were 3 exam rooms and a big lab in the back with a heavy door that made a loud bang when it closed. Dr. Evans was an older guy. He had a reputation for being grumpy, but was well liked overall. The other staff adored him. But as time passed, I noticed changes in his behavior. He grew more absent-minded, sometimes forgetting names or asking me to remind him about appointments. Once, he left his reading glasses in the sink while scrubbing up for a surgery, nearly pouring water into them. It worried me. Was he losing his mind? Maybe, or maybe something else lurked beneath his irritability. Then one rainy Tuesday, it all made horrifying sense. A new patient, Mrs. Haverhill, shuffled into the waiting room. She was in her early 80s and walked with a cane. I took her chart. She needed a physical checkup. I joked, "Don't worry, it'll be quick." She gave me a strange smile. "I don't have much time left anyway," she said. Later that day, I found Dr. Evans slumped over paperwork in his office. "Dr. Evans," I knocked gently. Yes, he mumbled. "Just a minute." I tapped the clipboard between my fingers. "You have a patient in room 2? It's Mrs. Haverhill," he said sharply. Right, he hurried out. As I reached for the intercom to let room to know the doctor was coming, I heard a muffled crash, followed by a horrified gasp. My blood ran cold. I grabbed the clipboard and ran to room 2. Inside, I saw Dr. Evans kneeling beside Mrs. Haverhill. His face was ashen, and his mouth hung open. She lay motionless on the floor, cane knocked aside, chest x-ray scattered nearby. "Doctor," I cried, "she's dead." He didn't respond. He just stared blankly at the ceiling. I screamed for 911. Minutes later, Dr. Evans snapped out of it. I didn't kill her," he stammered, scrambling back. "What?" I frowned. "You didn't? What happened, doctor?" He shook his head, his face crumpled. "I don't know," he whispered. "She just collapsed. I swear I only went to check her blood pressure. I just wanted to confirm it, but then when I touched her arm, she just looked at me, and then she fell." His words tumbled out, clearly shaken. I knew he wasn't lying. Still, the police showed up. They examined Mrs. Haverhill and found no signs of foul play. They said perhaps she'd suffered a heart attack. But Dr. Evans was charged with negligent homicide just in case. The accusations tore him up. He became withdrawn, spending most of his time in the lab. I hated how silent he was. So one day I went to talk to him. I found him hunched over a tray of surgical instruments in the back room. "Dr. Evans?" I asked gently. "Are you okay?" Startled, he looked up. "Me," he said. "I'm fine." He turned away again. "If you're having problems, you should talk to someone. You know there are counselors who can help." He remained silent. That's when I heard it. From behind the metal tray, his voice dropped to a whisper. "You don't understand. I didn't kill her. Something else did." I thought he was joking, until I saw his face. He looked genuinely afraid, terrified even. The lab door slammed shut. He spun around. "Who was that?" I asked. "No one," he said hastily. "Just a pipe banging. Come on, let's go talk to Detective Miller about the case." "Dr. Evans, I don't think it was a pipe," I said. "There was a person back there, I promise you. I heard them. They came back here after I left. I know they're still in this building." Fear contorted his features. "Don't go," he choked out. "Please don't go." Ignoring his pleas, I dashed to the door and flung it open. Empty. I called out, "Hello, is anyone there?" Silence. I looked back at Dr. Evans, his face drained of color. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. "I'm sorry," he breathed. "You shouldn't have seen that." "I'm so sorry." Shaken, I backed away. "What are you sorry for?" "Sorry that I could see it." "But you can too. Why don't you show me where they are?" "No," he whispered urgently. "Please don't make me." But I was determined. I scoured the room, peeking under tables, checking closets. Then I noticed a loose floorboard near the filing cabinet. It was a small detail, but something about the way it creaked set off alarms in my head. "Doctor," I said, kneeling beside it, "can you help me?" He hesitated, then slowly nodded. Together, we pried the board free. Beneath it, hidden in the dark space between the floorboards, lay a key. I pulled it out and gasped. On the tip was a tiny carving of a skull. I stood up, my heart pounding. "This isn't normal, doctor," I said. "This is crazy." I headed toward the front door. "Where does this key fit? Where do you think it goes?" "No," he choked out. "Please don't go out there." But I was already opening the door. "Goodbye, Dr. Evans," I said. I slipped out into the rain and raced down the street. I walked 4 blocks, adrenaline pumping. Then I spotted a 10-old brick building with boarded windows. I remembered it from before the medical office went up. This was the original structure, built in the late 1800s. People said it was haunted. I inserted the key into a lock. It turned, a door creaked open. I peered inside. The space was dark and dusty, untouched for decades. Then I saw it. At the far end, set into the wall, was a small iron gate. It was shaped like a skull. I pushed it open. Behind it lay a narrow staircase, spiraling down into darkness. At the bottom waited a pair of empty, unseeing eyes. I don't know how long I stood there, maybe minutes, maybe hours. But eventually, I realized something. The door to the office was probably propped open. If I didn't get back soon, someone would notice. I closed the door, locking it with the key, then sprinted back to the medical building. As I rounded the corner, I saw a man walking toward me, tall, slender, wearing a fedora. He looked like a character from an old black and white movie. He stopped in front of me, blocking my path. "You shouldn't have come here," he rasped, his voice thin and reedy. Terror froze me. He stepped closer. "Why did you bring the key back?" I don't know," I stammered. "I was curious." He shook his head sadly. "You shouldn't be curious about things that don't concern you. Now you've disturbed her rest." His grip tightened. "Please let me go," I begged. "You've done enough." He loomed over me. "It's too late for that," he hissed. He lunged. I screamed and scrambled backwards, but there was nowhere to go. The hallway was too narrow. He towered over me, face twisted in a cruel smile, and then everything went black. I woke up in Dr. Evans' office. Sunlight streamed through the windows. I bolted upright, gasping for breath. My head pounded. Beside me sat Dr. Evans, looking grave. "What happened?" I croaked. "You fainted," he said softly. "You came in here, then just collapsed." "But the man, the key?" I whispered, struggling to sit up. "The doctor," he cut in. "There is no man. You were never at that building. There's nothing there but old pipes and asbestos." And Dacky, he reached out, showing me his hand. "It's the only key we had. It opens a closet in the basement. That's where you probably hid it after visiting the house." "But I did visit it," I insisted. "I walked there. I even found the door. I unlocked it with the key." "It's possible," he said quietly. "You must have slipped out while I was on the phone. Do you remember getting back here?" I shook my head. "I just remember the door opening and you were standing in front of me." He sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "I'm sorry," he murmured. "I really am. You must have been terrified." He looked at me with such sadness in his eyes. How could he be sad when none of it had happened? I wanted to explain, but no words came out. Instead, I reached for his hand. "Did you see him too?" "See who?" he asked. "The man who followed you," I breathed. "The man with the key who wants to take me to the house." "Ah," he said, a flicker of recognition crossing